Hello, everybody. Now, what will you do if you find a need within a community? Do you just sit back and say, oh, well, you know what, not my problem, I will let someone else think about it? You know, there's homeless people on the street. They are lying around. They don't have food. They don't have a place to go. But you know what? It's not my problem. Let someone else deal with it. Let the governor deal with it. Let the other community people deal with it, right? A lot of people think that way. However, my beautiful guest today, Chris Durnan, didn't think that way. She saw the need. She saw the problem. And you know what? There was no help. And you know what? Chris decided to do something about it. Let's hear what Chris's story is. Hello, Chris. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Thank you. Okay, Chris, tell us first a bit about who Chris is.
Well, Chris is a mother. Chris is a wife. Chris is a teacher. And I am a person who cares a lot about other people. And how important it is to be there for other people. I've been doing that all my life, it seems like. So that's kind of where I am.
I love that. So that makes sense. You started Showers of Blessings, which is showers for the homeless. And it's much more than that, but we'll get into that. Tell us a bit about how you got into that and why you decided to take things in your own hands and do something about it.
Well, like I told you before, it's a long story, but I'll try and make it short. I had been aware of the people in our community who were without homes for a long time. And I went and joined a group called Philabelly, which they feed our homeless population every week. Mm-hmm. And I would come and I would bring food and, we'd talk with people. And I got to know some people there that way, but there were tons of people doing this. And I just kind of felt like many of the people who were benefiting from the food were getting a little overwhelmed. So there were a few of us that went to a different park on another night, and we did our own thing there, and it wasn't quite as full of people, I guess you would say. Yes. Anyway, in doing that, it really made me aware of the fact that people needed more than just food. Yes. They needed clothing. They needed to be able to wash themselves. They needed to have a place where they could just come and rest for a little while. And I went to a meeting in Oceanside, California, and ran into a gentleman. We were just sat there talking, and I just asked him, I said, so what is your ministry? And he goes, well, we have a shower program for the homeless. Wow. Down in Encinitas and for San Diego. And it was like, light bulb went off, and I'm going, this is what we need. This is, we need more of that. Mm-hmm. So he told me about his program. I went down and saw what they were doing. I have a group of very dear friends that I meet with every week. It's a faith sharing group. And I went to them and I said, hey, what do you think about this? Mm-hmm. And we went down to see the program, and everybody got excited about it. And then they told us that we needed $45 a week to be able to rent this shower trailer, and from the diocese of the Episcopal Diocese. Of course, we didn't have any money at that point. There was nothing, So we went to Philabelly and told them about it. And they ended up paying the $45 a week for this. And they got us going for that first year. Wow. Until we were able to, fundraise and do that kind of thing. And it just grew. It grew to the point where the people in North County, San Diego, we realized that we needed our own shower trailer. We needed, because it was trying to share it with all of San Diego was ridiculous.
Yes, yes.
And so there were about 5 churches that got together, and we fundraised, and we got our own shower trailer. And we added clothing to that, where we would get donated clothes, and we would have clothes so that people could put on a fresh pair of clothes. Mm-hmm. We got hair stylists involved, and people were able to get haircuts and beard trims, and then we had food. And people were bringing hot food in the morning, so that they could just a hot breakfast. And then, out of the blue, a lady approached me, a nurse, yes, and said, we have this program of training nursing students, and we would like to start a clinic here at your facility. Wow. And I was just, at that point, I said, Holy Spirit, thank you, for everything, because it just kind of came. Everything, as soon as we just had the idea of doing this, all of a sudden people were coming out of the woodwork, and this medical clinic was the icing on the cake. Mm-hmm. It really was. And so now we have nursing students that come through twice a year. They have the program, the clinical program, and then we have RN, PAs, and doctors who see the patients and prescribe or do whatever they need to do or refer. Yeah. So it's in a nutshell.
It's so exciting, because I love it. You know how you always think about how if you're in the right place at the right time, synchronicity, whatever, I don't believe in coincidence, and you're supposed to be there, then the doors just open.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, but it has a lot to do with belief and faith, right?
It does. It does. And I had been praying for a long time, actually. I had completed something that I never dreamed that I would complete in my life. I walked across Spain, 500 miles. And when I was doing that, I was thinking a lot about the future. Because I had retired. I had retired a few years before that, and I was kind of floundering, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Yes. And that made me. It gave me a lot of time, 6 weeks of time to
500 miles.
And 500 miles gave me a lot to think about. But when I thought for sure that I would know what I wanted to do after I got back, and I really didn't. Mm-hmm. I knew that I needed to just take time and to wait, and that the Lord would tell me what I needed to do. And so I did. I prayed a lot and kept my eyes open, my ears open, and voila, it did. It happened.
Yes. And it's not the first time. I've spoken to a whole lot of people on the show, Break Fear, Find Freedom, right? Mm-hmm. Who have actually also started things just because of that, where it's just synchronicity. People start coming into your life and things start happening and doors start opening, and suddenly it just explodes. Mm-hmm. And that is exciting.
And I think it's the Holy Spirit. Synchronicity, maybe, but I think it's the Holy Spirit.
Yes, it's all just words, really. I mean, all divine intervention.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right, as well.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing. So just one person, right? You have changed how many lives just by helping one person at a time.
Yeah.
Right. And not only that, I mean, the volunteers, because I volunteer there, right? And being a volunteer, even for that, it's hard work, but it's so rewarding, because you can see the change you make. People, if only, you just have that a bit of love and a bit of acknowledgement, even for those 4 hours or those 5 hours, makes a big difference.
Yeah. And, it's funny, because I was a teacher for 20 years, and I never got to really see the product of my teaching. I mean, you see that what happens during that year, but what happens to them, down the line.
Yes.
You never really get to see that, unless maybe somebody comes back and visits you,
Yes,
years hence. But with this program, we do see things happening, and we've seen a lot of people move on and get housing and get help with whatever their need was. Some have gone home, some have, there's just a lot of movement and a lot of different things happening. And there are a lot that haven't, but we just keep praying and hoping that it will for them someday.
Yes. And I think a lot of people just start enjoying the street life as well, because, I don't know.
It's freedom. It's freedom for them.
Yeah.
It's freedom. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about your victory stories. You must have some victory stories, right?
Victory stories. Okay, well, I think my biggest victory stories were when I put my mind to something that I didn't think I could do. I think one of the first things that I did years and years ago is I learned how to scuba dive.
Whoa!
I was so afraid of this whole thing of going down under the water. My husband was just gung ho. He really wanted to do this, and I knew from experience talking to other people that if your husband starts scuba diving, that he'll go away all weekend. He'll be gone all weekend because it takes a long time to get out there and do it and then come back.
Yes.
And so I said, well, I'm going to just do it with him, so that I don't have to be sitting at home taking care of kids all day long. But it took a lot for me to actually do that. And the thing that was the hardest was you had to go down with your air in your mouth, your VC or your ventilator, whatever it's called. And then you go down 30 feet.
Sure.
And then you have to take it out. Oh. And you have to come up, but you can't come up fast. It's a step kind of thing that if you come up too fast, you get, you'll get the bends. You get the bends. Yes. And so you have to, measure that. But usually you're doing it when you're breathing like this. Well, this time you had to do it without that. And that was, just in case of an emergency, and you lost your air or whatever, you'd know how to do that.
Wow.
I sweat bullets over that one. And I ended up doing it. And that accomplishment just made me feel like I could do anything. Wow. I could do anything. Wow. And I think the second one was when I completed my teaching credential. And, and I was able to get a job right away and, get my hands dirty, so to speak, in the classroom. That to me was just so, the creativity was let loose, the excitement, these little kids. I was a first grade teacher, so there was just a bunch of these wonderful little kids, and that was a big boost, to my confidence and and then the Camino, walking the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, walking 500 miles across northern Spain, and actually, being able to do it. Because I was very fearful of, something was going to happen, I was going to break a leg or something, or something, something's going to happen that's going to stop me from doing this. And the night before we started our Camino, my husband and I laid in bed all night long. We could not sleep. Neither of us. We kept tossing and turning, and I could tell he was not sleeping, and I was not sleeping. Yeah. And that day we got up in the morning. We said, "Well, we've got to go. We've got to start." We ended up walking for 2 hours. We stopped at the first hostel that there was, and we just said, "Okay, we're going to go." We at least we got the momentum going, but now we're going to go to sleep, and then we'll get up tomorrow and we'll start over again. But anyway, that was a big accomplishment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do it?
Well, 15, 16 years prior to that, Emmett my husband's brother did it. And I was just blown away, you know, and he was, at the time, he was in his late 60s. Mm-hmm. And he did this, and he wrote a journal and then let us read that journal when he was done. And I said to myself, you know, that would be just so cool. I love Europe and I love Spain. You know, we lived in Spain for a couple of years and I wanted to go back. So, you know, like that kind of lured us back too.
Yes, yes.
But then after I retired, and I was kind of floundering, it was like, well, you know, I'm not doing anything else. Why not? You know, so we went to Europe for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to like start your retirement, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
And you accomplished it, 500 miles.
Yeah, it was not easy. It was very painful. It was very joyful at times. We met a lot of people from all over the world. Mm-hmm. You know, all the way from Japan, all the way to Australia, you know, down to Africa, South America,
wow.
You know, North America, Europe, everybody. It was pretty amazing trip. Pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I kind of wore my feet out doing that, and they haven't been the same since, but it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Yeah.
And then you started this beautiful passion project, right?
Yes. I love it. I do love, this is my passion. It is. Yeah.
And what about people that have come into and you've met, and what kind of stories do you have that have gone off and have, I don't know, flourished, and you've found later on that they're doing well?
Well, you know, it's funny with people who are experiencing homelessness. They don't often come back, you know, so it's kind of like teaching kids.
Yeah, right.
Kind of the same thing, you know. But there was this one lady who I was very close to, and I continue to be very close to, who came to live with me for a while. And after a couple of months, you know, she said to me, she said, you know, I finally feel like I'm not in survival mode anymore, you know, that my brain is kind of adjusted and is able to look forward into the future. Mm. And that really, you know, it was like, okay, this is a good thing. This is a good thing that's happening. And that person is moving forward very well, beautifully. Mm. She really is. Yeah. That's probably the nicest thing. And I've seen a few people who have been able to get into homes and who, you know, are figuring it out.
Yes.
You know, just trying to figure out how they can pay for it, you know, then maybe getting a job or Social Security, seeing them move on and being able to you know, work what works for them, you know, and being able to take advantage of what works for them. So that's good.
What about frustrations, like trying to do something, you know, and then you stuck with like red tape, or I don't know.
Yeah. Or people who just don't understand. They've had a lot of frustrations. I had one gentleman that we worked with for a long time who we ended up, he had fallen and broken his leg, his femur, and was in the hospital for, 6 months, sure. I think, hospital and rehabilitation for 6 months. And we just kept, you know, in touch and trying to keep his spirits up and that kind of thing. And working with one of the organizations here in San Diego, they were able to find him a place to live. Oh, nice. It was great. I mean, we were just so excited, and we got furniture and we got him all set up, and, you know, and he was in a wheelchair. So it had to be an ADA kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And he was an alcoholic. and he relapsed. And after 3, maybe 4 months, he ended up being kicked out of this apartment that he was in, and we were just crushed. I mean, it was just like, but this was a choice they made, and then he ended up having another accident, and then he was in the hospital again, and he came out of the hospital, and he was still living on the streets after the hospital, and didn't really. I think he was kind of ashamed that he had lost the apartment, and he didn't really want to connect with us anymore. And unfortunately, they found him passed away in the park one day.
Wow.
And that was just a really tough one, because we had spent, a good part of 2 years, working with him. Yeah.
Unfortunate part is that you can only do so much, and if they don't take responsibility, there's nothing you can do.
No.
And that's the scariest part.
Yeah, that is. And when you're dealing with, mental illness, it really is very difficult to sometimes get through, and make them realize that you're there to help them. Many times they one little thing goes wrong, and then you are out. You're just not. You're not helping them you're not helping me anymore, and that's a little frustrating. That's that. But again, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
And we do what we can.
Because there's the addiction as well. The addictions, the mental illness, and then the addictions because of the mental illness because of the addictions.
Yeah.
You actually need more support.
We do. We need a lot more, especially substance abuse support and mental health support. There's so much that can be done, but we just don't have the facilities. We don't have the practitioners. We don't have places to take them to get the help that they need. And that's sad, especially when they want to get help and then they can't get help.
Yes.
Because there's nothing available.
Yes.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that you do have that, like, they want the help. Eventually you convince them they want the help, and then it's like, and now what? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no beds. So they have to wait on the street. Okay, then they just start either drinking or doing whatever.
Yeah.
Again, and because they're cold and because they're uncomfortable, and it's hard. It's
bored.
Bored. And they have friends that and they have fun doing it.
Yes, because it's a community. It's like, Wow. Yeah. Okay, so Chris, have you found freedom?
Have I found freedom? Yes, I think I have. I've thought about this a lot, because we've talked about this a lot, and the freedom that I find is through my faith. I know that I am being guided and helped, given strength. It doesn't always happen the way I want it to, but I'm learning to live with that and just accept the fact that it'll happen in its own time, if it's supposed to. And I just have to keep moving forward, and one day, there's always more things that come up, and so I've got to charge forward and take on maybe a little bit more than I'm doing right now. But I'm feeling like I've got the confidence to do that, and the help from my friend, the Holy Spirit.
It's interesting, because if you didn't have the confidence initially, you wouldn't have started this anyway. So it is like having that faith and that trust in yourself as well, right?
Yeah. Because I trust in my faith. The faith gives me the trust that I need that I can do it.
Yes.
That, and that, that I'm not going to be doing that by myself.
Yes, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to do things on your own.
Yeah. And it brings a community together. You get it's like our community, the small community that started this whole thing, and that's grown, over time. And a community is so necessary for trying to do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to have people to
support each other. And then I think that's also what the homeless need probably is also the community. Mm-hmm. That's why they love to come to showers, because they have that connection, even if it's just for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris, tell us a bit about what is Showers of Blessings?
Well, Showers of Blessings is a program that we run every Tuesday morning from 7:30 to 11:30 downtown Carlsbad on Madison Street, 3256 Madison Street. And the showers consists of a hot shower. We have a trailer that has hot water, and we have 2 shower stalls, and people can take showers there. But before they do that, they can get clean clothes. Mm-hmm. They can get food. And if they need a haircut, they can. We have a wonderful stylist that comes every week.
Nice.
She's wonderful, and they can get underwear and socks and any of those types of, and toiletries, towels, whatever they need for their shower. Mm-hmm. Also, we have our medical clinic, and they can come, and if they need any kind of medical attention, the nurses and the doctors and nurse practitioners are all there to help them. And they're there at the same time that we are. And recently we added a wonderful program from an organization in Oceanside, Lived Experiences, that they have a mobile laundry.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Really cool. Very, very cool. Because so many people, they would wear clothes until they were so dirty that you couldn't do anything with them, and they would just throw them away.
Yes.
And now they can bring them to our friend Oscar, who runs this program, and wash their clothes, and then they don't have to get as many clothes from us, because they find the clothes that they want, and they can keep those for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really a one-stop shop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you also have the volunteers chatting and creating relationships with the people.
We have wonderful volunteers, really do. We have people who are, working sign-in, people who are helping them find clothing, people giving them food, and then just people walking around, sitting down, talking, and finding out what their needs are, and what if there's anything in particular that they need to have to make their life a little easier. Sometimes we have backpacks and sleeping bags and blankets and those kinds of things, shoes, that we're able to give to them. So it's like I said, one-stop shop. Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. Because at least then once a week you can feel like a bit of a human person,
exactly.
And
many people walk out really just feeling so much more dignified, because they're clean, they've washed their hair, they've brushed their hair, they've got a haircut. And, you can just, and many people, you just see the smiles on their faces after when they leave. It makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very rewarding.
It is.
So do you have any other plans? I don't think you can. I think you've thought about everything here.
No, I don't have any plans. You might have some more plans that I'm going to be part of, but we shall see. We shall see.
Do you hear him talking to you?
Do I hear him talking to me? Yeah, here in my heart, I do. I know when something's good. If it's based in love, and it's based in compassion and respect and honor, then it's good. And that's the direction that I go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like
Yeah.
love can change the world.
It can.
I know it sounds very Pollyannish, but
it can. But unfortunately, people fight it, and I don't know why, because it's pretty darn good to be loved.
Right.
Yeah. Fear. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, well, you know what? You're doing an awesome job. And you're helping so many people.
Well, we just do what we can.
One person at a time.
One person at a time. Exactly.
Thank you, Chris.
Well,
this was super
It was
awesome.
nice. It was just nice. It was a lot easier than I thought.
I know, you think like, what is this?
Yeah, a lot easier than I thought. Yeah.
Thank you. It was awesome. Many blessings. Thank you, everyone.
You too.
We will see you soon.